Back again. A Muslim and an atheist breaks bread. The same, Pop.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the people watching the videos. We're doing this one because it was requested, and it's been requested a few times, so I thought we'd jump into it. It's called The Army of Satan, the Loyal Army. So I've got no expectation on this video, so I'm interested, I'm intrigued. Let's go.
He's always trying to break you down, to make you sad, to let you in the darkness from the very beginning, when he declared his enmity to mankind. And throughout the history, he caused evil and destruction between every nation. And today, he became much powerful than any time else.
A new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
We begin to see the climax of a major change in society, the climax of a new world order. And we begin to see a type of integration between information technology and trade. We begin to see the economy, politics, culture, and ideology being transported simultaneously from nation to nation. And with this technology, with the ability to transport ideas, the very value systems of people, the way that they eat, what they enjoy to do, how they enjoy recreation, their racial concepts, their culture, their ideology being transported all around the world, a type of globalization. And with this boom in the information technology, and with this major event that takes place, now it comes to a culmination and it starts to reach a high point. And so the innocent people, we look at this and we say, what?
Quickly, we'll go into it after the video, but I just want to say, isn't that exactly what Islam's trying to do as well, though? Isn't religions in general's mission to convert people to their religion? So by essence, isn't that the same thing?
Compared to what?
Globalization. He's saying that their cultures, their ideologies, their thought process, they're using new technologies to transport that around the world to indoctrinate. But isn't that exactly the same thing you're trying to do? It's just one narrative against another.
Nah.
Nope.
Well,
It is, though, isn't it?
no. The problem, if there is a problem, isn't the religion it's the people. Right? So both things, yes, have influence on people, but one has an influence in terms of you can live within these confines and practice this, and the other one has, you must take the jab, you must do this, you must do that. So it's not the same thing. One, you can choose to practice something. One, you have no choice. It's mandated for you. And that's the what's globalization of that mandatory everything, where he's saying everything's on the internet. So everything is going around, good, bad, indifferent, fake news, this news, but any real news isn't on there. So how can that be good if you're only getting one side of the thing? It's completely different. Like I said, one is politics and one is religion.
What is going on? What is happening to the world that had so many different varying views, different nations, different ways of approaching things that can complement each other? Now we see politics is stripped of real power, that the economy governs all social exchange. We see that the states serve the financial power structures, that the real power is no longer in the hands of the generals, but the real power now switching to the hands of the people who run the economy, to the banking systems. And then we see that politicians play the role of public relations officers, only to control the masses, either by lulling them to sleep or by terrorizing them. And then we see that the masses of the people become helplessly preoccupied. Their lives are now bombarded with a series of cultural events. And these cultural events start to become the most important things in their lives. The World Cup, the Major League Series, the rugby, the cricket, the hockey, the tennis, whatever the sport may be, we see whole nations coming behind sports. And the national heroes become sporting people. Even in Saudi Arabia, even in our own Muslim countries, the national heroes are now the soccer players. Who kicks the little ball inside of a net? He becomes the hero of the nation when people are dying on the ground. But yet we become preoccupied with this. And it becomes a type of indoctrination happening to us. And with the use of powerful music playing on our emotions, with videos now being taken to the furthest extremes in the planet, people's thinking processes are changing. People are now in love with the superheroes, even confused about their own identity, trying to change themselves, change the color of their hair, change their eyes, change the way they dress, change the way they talk on a global level. And then we see drug addiction reaching a point that humanity has never seen before. And after traveling to over 36 countries, looking at the Muslims and being with them, I have found that in all of the communities that the young people are being confused with drugs. It is pouring into our countries. No matter what form it takes, cocaine, LSD, psychedelic, depressants, put you up, put you down, confuse you, but create a false world and give you a false dependence so that you become dependent on the chemical. You forget about Allah. Your God becomes the pusher. Your God becomes the chemical. And so creating this dependency amongst the masses of the people.
This is a dollar bill, which is the now devalued dollar bill. And on the back of the dollar bill, there's a seal on this side. It's called the Great Seal of the United States. That's what it's called. It's their seal. Now, behind the seal, this is actually what is behind the Great Seal of the United States, is a pyramid with one eye. Now, the one eye is the sun god, Re, which is where we get the word ray, sun rays. It is the sun god, same Mithraic character, and he shows up again and again. This is the Masonic god of the ray.
13 5-pointed stars, and when you draw lines between them, you'll draw a 6-pointed star.
If the hexagonal star is lifted out and placed over the image of the pyramid, its points indicate specific letters in the Latin inscription surrounding it, which are thought to be an anagram.
Inside the American dictionary is the word anagram, which is the intentional scrambling of the letters of a word to conceal the real word. So if you re-scramble, you get Masons. This is how we know that the Masons originated the drawings for the Great Seal of the United States.
This search for concealed meanings in the iconography is not confined to the imagery alone. It is claimed that the number 13, the most ominous number in Western tradition, is hidden throughout the symbols on the $1 bill. They point out the repetition of the symbolic number 13. There are 13 leaves on the olive branch in the eagle's right claw, 13 arrows in the left claw, 13 stars above the eagle's head, and 13 bars and stripes on the shield.
Count the feathers. You'll notice that there are 32 feathers on the bird's left wing and 33 on his right wing.
This is understood to refer to the 33 degrees of Masonry introduced by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, America's most prominent Masonic order, whose national HQ is in Washington.
If you look, you'll see the pyramid is built except for the top. It's built except for the top. The eye is suspended above the top. It hasn't come down yet. Because they believe until they finished the Masonic project, which is the what they say on the bottom, Novus Ordo Seclorum, and then Annuetta Chapters, he is pleased with our project. In other words, the God they believe in is pleased with our project. What is the project? This is the question. What is the project that this God is pleased with? The project is literally the secularization of the world. To completely strip the world from religious beliefs. This is the project, and that is why it is called Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new secular or worldly order.
I think I have like a thing when we talk about globalization, New World Order, Masons and Illuminati, especially the Illuminati, because I feel like whatever, if someone religious is talking to me about the Illuminati, I feel like they're always going to come with this like satanic side, because you have to think like, we come from a place where they put you to death for denouncing Christianity. You know what I mean? If you didn't believe in God, not so much today, but you know, in history, they'd kill you. That was it. So Illuminati, from my understanding, I'm reading about it, was scientists, artists, people who basically turn their back on the church, which doesn't necessarily mean that you're a devil worshipper. It just means you don't subscribe to, I don't believe in God. That don't mean I believe in the devil. By proxy, if I don't believe in God, I don't believe in the devil either. So I always look at these things and think, but then that doesn't mean that there isn't globalization, that there is a new world order. So I feel like that people get like the whole thing mixed up into one thing. Is there people like running the world? Yeah, of course there is. Do they want one world order? Yeah, of course they do, because it would make things easier. Do I necessarily think that's a bad thing? No. Why is that a bad thing? I think if we lived in a world where there wasn't borders, things would be better.
Who put the borders there?
People. But there's always been borders, hasn't there? There's always been... No, I don't know if there's always been borders, actually. Obviously, there's a point where there weren't any borders, but... yeah, but what I'm saying is... there's always been kingdoms, innit? There's always been kingdoms, tribes, and different spaces, different groups of people, which, by definition, would create a border. Whether it's a visible border or a thing, there's always gonna be something separating one group of people from another.
No, not necessarily. Like I said, if there's a river and a this and a that, right? But borders are, like I said, what Europe has put on the world. You know, when they went to South America or North America or Africa or India, they drew it the way they wanted it to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So
yeah.
all them
I agree with that.
borders
Yeah,
is the borders that we refer to, because before that, as you said, there were kingdoms and empires, and you know, people had their towns and their cities and their regions just the same. But this, what he's talking about, the global effect, is the propaganda, the money, the control. IMF doesn't just lend you money, it sets conditions that, you know, you can't build hospitals and schools, and so there are institutions, like I says, Europe in Africa since how long, and they didn't build schools and hospitals, you know, they built roads where they needed to get something out, maybe. France.
Yeah, but do you think that's greedy people? Do you think that is like inherently Illuminati and Masons?
It's organised, what do you mean?
Yeah, of course it's organised, because
So
this is what I'm saying. But
organising
is
it.
that Illuminati and Masons,
Well,
or
I
is
don't know
that
what
just
Illuminati and Masons are. Like
greedy,
I said,
or
that's
is it
just a
just
name
greedy-
for
or
some
is it just
people
greedy
that's
people?
running things. There's some people running things. You know, you call them what you want to call them, Illuminati, Mason, what difference does it make? Rich people, you know, the ultra rich.
But that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
all of these people report to somebody who's the boss. That's how things go.
Yes.
You understand? So while we're focusing on names of organizations, they're not running nothing. There's a boss who's running things.
It's corporation, like he's right when he's talking about how
There's a boss.
corporation has overtaken government in what's
No corporation
influencing.
running nothing.
Of course it is. Corporations and banks, financial corporations and banks run things. The government don't run it. They're the ones who influence it. They tell the government what agendas want to be pushed.
Absolutely.
I believe that 100%.
Absolutely.
But where we're going from religion to politics is that the work of Satan, is what I'm trying to say. Because when they do use terms like Illuminati and Masons, because there is like this secrecy shrouded around it, it's easy to say like, yeah, but they're like eating kids in their ceremonies, and do you know what I'm trying to say though? They're like, that's the propaganda that comes with that.
I think that's some of the propaganda. You know, Illuminati, the term's supposed to mean the enlightened ones, and it? So
Exactly.
It's used on that basis. Freemasonry and the practice of Freemasonry, not all Freemasons are enlightened, you know. So again, this is what I say, it depends on what level you're at and where you are up the food chain in terms of 32nd and 33rd degree. Are people who are truly enlightened, because they're running the thing. You know, you're not going to be CEO of a company and have absolutely no idea what the company's about.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to dive into that as well. I do want to do some more videos on Freemasonry and Illuminati. But that is a Muslim and Atheist. Break spread. Peace.
Peace.